Hello everyone, this is a short video which aims to clarify some information around assessment item 1.2 in the user needs analysis. This particular assessment item is based on recommendation systems, so I'd like to begin by giving you some of the basics around recommendation systems. In front of you you see a sheet of paper, and on this paper there are 3 points, P1, P2 and P3. And these points represent people. And you'll notice that P1 and P2 are fairly close together as represented by the length of this line, and P1 and P2 are closer together than they are with the distance with respect to P1 and P3 and P2 and P3. Now why is that? Well, the distance between people are based on their profiles, and the profiles are represented by these items in brackets. So if we look at the Amazon bookstore example, we could say that the profile for person P1 are the books that they've purchased. So you've got P1 has bought books A, B and C, person P2 has bought books A, C and D, and person P3 has bought books A and X. And you'll notice that the profiles between P1 and P2 are very similar. So 2 out of the 3 items are the same which they both bought. So that allows us to assume that P1 and P2 have similar interests or preferences. And this overlap between P1 and P2 is much more than the overlap between P1 and P3, say, and that's why the distance between P1 and P3 is further than the distance between P1 and P2. Now, how does recommendation occur? Well, given that P1 and P2 have similar interests based on the overlap between their profiles, it would make sense to recommend book B to P2, and conversely it would make some sense to recommend book D to P1. So the profiles serve 2 purposes. One is to sort of group people together based on distance or overlap between their profiles, and also the profiles are used as a source of recommendation. So that's really a quick rundown about how recommendation systems work. Now let's see what this assignment is about and place that in the context of recommendation systems. So the question is, how can recommendation system be placed in a library setting? And so what I'm really looking for is creative solutions and ideas, so maybe something libraries of the future. Now there are key issues here that need to be considered, and these can be the focus of what you're after in terms of creativity. The first is, how are you going to define the profiles of these library users? What would be the features of these profiles? And once you've established that, how will these profiles be used for recommendation? So hopefully that gives you some more information and a good basis for you to further this assessment item.